Good morning, friends. Today I have brought a brand new video on how to gain the SAP implementation work experience while working in a SAP support project. So basically, we will try to understand as part of this video is that while actually we are working on a support project, how to get the exposure and experience related to the actual SAP implementation project. Before I proceed further, there are few requests from my side. Kindly like this video, subscribe this YouTube channel, and share this video in your network. Put up your comments if you have any, and try to implement whatever is being explained in this video in your day-to-day life while working on a support project. Certainly, in a very short period of time, you will also feel much more confident even for the handling interviews related to SAP implementation experience. Let's proceed further. So below are the contents as part of this video. The choice of SAP projects, thought process going on in support consultant's mind, mindset change and efforts needed, SAP implementation project experience initiation, setup of various business scenarios in dummy SAP system, making notes from SAP support projects, making notes from dummy SAP implementation projects, awareness about SAP implementation methodologies in detail, continuous preparation and discussion with seniors and co-workers or colleagues, attending some mock interviews if possible, personal efforts and motivation to make a better career in SAP, and finally we will conclude this video by putting up our conclusion. So in the last two slides we have seen all the contents which we are going to cover up as part of this video. Before I move to the next slide, I have one small query. How many of you actually have never worked in SAP implementation project, but wherever you apply for a new job, they always ask for at least one end-to-end implementation project experience. You write on your piece of paper in your resume, but when it comes to justifying that experience in the interview, I have seen most of the people fail miserably during the interview process. So let's go through it and see how we can make ourselves better in terms of gaining implementation experience while actually working in a SAP support projects. And I'm sure this is the query for many people will have, rather I will say most of the people will have, people who has actually never worked in the SAP implementation projects. So let's deep dive in and let's see how it goes further. Moving next, choice of SAP projects. This is again a very interesting heading. I will say most of the people when they join any new company or maybe the first job in their company, they do not get an option to choose SAP projects from whatever is available with the company or with the client or whatever you call it as. So whatever is given to them, they have to usually accept it. And because of that, many people actually do not get a chance to work on SAP implementation project. If you are a fresher, then getting a support project is far more easier, I will say, than compared to the implementation project. Many a times the company in which you are working, they may not have any implementation project if it is a small company. Getting a support project for the company is also comparatively much more easier than getting an implementation project. Then many a times even consultants become very much comfortable in their support project work environment, the activities they perform on a daily basis or regular basis, and slowly they start thinking that that is the only activities available in the SAP world. And this is where the problem actually begins. Then many a times people do not want to work in the rotational work shifts. Sometimes they do not accept any implementation work due to the job location. Sometimes there can be a lot of skills mismatch as well. So overall, I will say these are some of the reasons why people do not get usually SAP implementation project experience. Many a times they don't get a chance, and many a times they actually don't want to explore, or they have never tried to explore. Remember one thing, if you really want something in your life or something in your career, something in your experience, you must put an effort towards it. If you don't put an effort towards it, and if you really don't even try for it, if you don't get it at one place, try it at other place. There are many ways to get this experience. There are many ways. It is not necessary that everybody will get a chance to actually work in an implementation project, because number of implementation projects are pretty much limited whenever you compare with any support projects available in the market. So that's the basic difference. But that doesn't mean that we can't get it. Let's see how we get it. Moving further, thought process going on in the consultant's mind. When they don't get a chance, then what kind of thoughts goes on in consultant's mind? Some of them are mentioned below. They always start thinking that I never got a chance to work in an implementation project. When somebody will ask me what kind of reply I will give it back to them, what I will reply to them. Then many a times, just because they have become too much comfortable, they never put an effort to learn it well. They stop exploring new things. They don't look at any new item coming up in their way. They just become comfortable and happy with whatever they are doing on a day-to-day basis, and slowly also start thinking that SAP activity is limited only up to that level. That is not the right thing actually. Then they also think, if somebody will ask me how I will answer, what I will answer, how I will explain, how I will convince the interviewer that whatever I am explaining is right. So this also becomes a big issue in the mind of the consultant. Then many a times, just because they don't have exposure to SAP implementation work, they lack the self-confidence in answering any kind of questions being asked to them during interview process. And the biggest and the worst part of it is they get into a habit of procrastination of learning new things. They think that if I learn new things, more work will be given to me, more headache will be given to me, I will have to deal with too many other things. Let me not learn it so that I can always say I don't know and I can save myself. Remember one thing, SAP is such a world that which is expanding on a big scale, and day by day something new is getting added up. Whatever was SAP exposure 10, 12, 12, 15 years ago, today it is completely different landscape altogether. So learning here is not one time activity or one day activity. It is daily activity till you quit SAP consulting job. The day you quit SAP consulting job, that day you can say, okay, I don't need to explore the system anymore further. But till then you can't say like that. No matter how many years of experience you have, it really does not matter. Because technology is evolving and every time something new gets added up in the system. So unless you explore, you will never be able to keep yourself updated for the implementation work. Moving further, mindset change and efforts needed. In order to get experience for SAP consulting work, the first and foremost thing is you have to change your mindset first, and then you also need to put an effort to learn it. Automatically it will not come to your mind and it will not sit in your head. You have to work for it. So first thing is remove the negative thoughts about yourself in your mind that I will not be able to clear interview related to the implementation work because I have never worked into that. That is point number 1. Then point number 2, you have to make a plan for your regular learning, and here when I am mentioning learning, it should be new learning, not the one which you already know. Within your module, within your area where you are working, there will be 10,000 things which you don't know at all, anything. Try to explore all those items, and also along with that, if it has any kind of integration point with other modules, other areas, please try to master that area as well. That is very much needed whenever you are working in an implementation project. Very much needed. It can be other modules, it can be interface, it can be lot of other things. Then other than making a plan to learn, you also need to track your progress. Whatever you have learned, you have to track, and how much you have planned, how much you have actually learned, and how to fill the gap of whatever the shortcomings are there or shortages are there. All these things you have to do it on a regular basis. Then you also need to remove your habit of procrastination or okay, I will learn it tomorrow. That tomorrow will never come in your life. I can give you in writing if you want. Don't put off something learning perspective for tomorrow. It will hit you very hard someday. Then when you are learning something new, you should always try to take help of your co-workers and seniors. People who can give you any kind of input, who can give you explain you certain topics, subject lines, or any business scenario. Please take help from them. Make use of their experience for your learning purpose. And one most important thing is you have to make yourself accountable. You have to make yourself responsible. You have to make yourself committed for your learning purposes. Many a times, because of laziness, because of letharginess, because of their mind think that okay, I am done with whatever things I had to learn, this is what my job is and this is what I will continue doing like that. Remember, in the SAP world there is nothing called as fixed item and a risk free item. Any job in SAP is very much replaceable, any resource is replaceable, irrespective of your expertise, doesn't matter at all. Lot of things will be always beyond your control where you will not be able to say anything on that. So if something goes wrong, what you will do? Will you manage with the same kind of skill set that you have? Will that work? No. If it will not work, then what you will do? You will have to do all these things whatever we have just discussed as part of this life. And that is what will make you better consultant, and that will also help you to gain SAP implementation work experience. Let's move further. So this slide we will discuss about how to start the SAP implementation project experience initiation, how to start getting it. So first and foremost thing is, many companies provide lots of resources internally within the company for the learning purposes. Are you using it to learn something new? Many people always say no. That should not be the case. You must utilize the resources provided by the company to gain some kind of experience, from that learn something new. Then whatever plan you have made, you have to put that plan into action. The plan should not remain on the piece of paper at any given point of time. Plan should be actually working in your day-to-day life. Then only I can say you have put a plan into action. Otherwise it is just a piece of paper written somewhere else. Then if you don't have any SAP server access in your company which you can use for your learning purpose, it should be other than your client system. Remember, client system you cannot use for your any kind of nonsense configuration and other things. So for that, if your company provides, well and good. If your company doesn't provide, please buy an online SAP server access and practice on that system about whatever new things you learn, and it should become a regular habit for you. It should not become one time you have done and after that you have forgotten. If you leave it, it will go from your mind also very soon. Tomorrow somebody will ask again in the interview some question, you will struggle to answer. As an interview panel member expert, I have seen, I don't know exactly how many examples of such type I have seen where people are not able to answer the basic questions, fundamental questions, conceptual questions, simply because probably they have never put an effort to learn or understand those topics. I am not able to understand why. What stops them to learn? Probably it is a mind block that stops them to learn, and that mind block they need to remove. Then only something better will happen in their professional life. Otherwise, nothing is going to improve. So please practice in the SAP system regularly. That will make you more better prepared and will make you more comfortable in handling any kind of interview questions being thrown at you. Moving next, various business scenarios in the dummy SAP system. This is again very important. Many a times people never try what kind of business scenarios it will have, what to do, what not to do. Lot of times you will face business scenario based questions in the interview. Did you ever try to implement those things in the SAP system and see how it actually works? I will say 98% people will never try. Only 2% who falls under the exception category, they are the ones only who will give a try. I have to tell the remaining 98% people that please you also follow the route followed by the 2% people, because they are really interested into learning. Not everybody is interested into putting an effort into learning new thing on a daily basis or a regular basis. A sad scenario, but it is very true. So you have to try creating various kind of business scenarios related to your module in the dummy system and see how it works. Then also cover up various submodules. Suppose you are working in the SAP FI, then you should cover up all the basic settings. You should cover up the implementation methodologies for the ECC and S4 HANA system. Then you should cover up what is theory. You should know what all different kind of tiles it has, what each tile would do. Then AR, AP, asset accounting, VCM, and then there are so many other areas along with the integration with other modules. The list is very long. I'm not going to detail of each of the topic to be covered up as part of business scenarios, because each module can have its respective business scenarios. And it is not just about explaining the business scenario, you should also understand the lo logical connection in that scenario. What is the logical connection? You say, okay, what is company code? Everybody knows it. But if somebody asks you, why do you need a company code? Why you have created it? What is the purpose for it? What is the reason behind it? Can you justify the creation of this company code? Then most of the people struggle to answer. That should not be the case with you. And that can happen only when you have the logical understanding of the conceptual items created in the SAP system as part of implementation project in the SAP system. So that is very, very much needed, and unless you have it, you will keep suffering. Moving next, making notes from SAP projects. This is what I have seen many people usually don't do. I don't know why. Is it a big burden if you carry a notebook and pen with you all the time whenever you are working on a project? If you are not able to create any Word document or Microsoft Word document, write it on a piece of paper. Whenever you learn something new, ensure that you are making note of that new learning in your piece of paper document. Just do a documentation for yourself, and time to time put an effort to revise those things as well. Then you should also try to explore the various business scenarios used in your project itself. Within your project also, there will be lots of business scenarios. Have you ever tried what is OTC scenario, how it will work end to end? Did you any time try? Create one sales order, create a delivery, create a billing document, create an accounting document, and make a payment for that invoice. Make one end to end scenario, run it. You will understand a lot of things if you run it. But if you never try for it, and if you just read by question or watching some videos, your understanding will always remain poor. For that to happen, you have to make a note of it and always practice it. Then, many a times people work on the custom processes and they become highly customized, or rather I will say very comfortable in handling only custom processes. They actually start forgetting the SAP standard business processes, and that is really a sad part of it. Many people don't know how the SAP standard process works just because they daily run on custom processes used in their respective project work in the support area. Please always try to learn SAP standard business processes, because that is what is going to be asked during the interview. Nobody will ask you to define a custom process in the interview. Please keep in mind that always. Then, whatever notes you have made, keep on revising it on a regular interval so that the learning remains afresh in your mind. Also, in order to retain those new learnings in your mind, kindly try discussing your new learnings with the like-minded consultants. It can be within your organization, it can be outside your organization as well. So it does not matter who the person is with whom you want to discuss these things or your new learnings, but in my experience, I will always try to say, whenever you discuss something, that item remains in your mind for a longer period of time. That means retention is very good when you discuss certain topics. But do you find time to put an effort towards it? That is purely your call. Remember, only your effort can make you a better consultant. If you don't put the right effort into the right direction with the right set of people, things will never move in the right direction. So please follow whatever is being mentioned in this slide to make your implementation learning better. Moving next, Making notes from the dummy SAP implementation projects. Whenever you start implementing the dummy projects in the dummy system, your any module doesn't matter, FI, CO, PS, FSCM, anything, PP, PS, QM, EWM, modules we have a lot, right? So whenever you implement something, you will face a lot of issues in the dummy system as well. Please make a note of those issues, the error messages, and how did you fix them, and how did you resolve them. Make a note of all these things. Then, in order to find out the solution, always take help from online available things and offline as well. Online, I mean whatever is available on the internet. Google, Google it, check it. Use as user ID if you have. Try to understand the scenario and see what can be done in order to make it happen. And offline learning means taking inputs or help from any person other than online help. If you have some notes, if you have some documents, if you have somebody who can give you some inputs, be a part of some of the WhatsApp groups where the information and knowledge is shared. You also share your knowledge and get others' knowledge as well in your learning purpose. Ensure that you have to make your understanding better. Then also carry out as many as possible end-to-end dummy implementation in the dummy system. If I talk in terms of FI side, SAP FI side, then you should start from the basic settings, whether in ECC system or S4HANA system does not matter, and go through all the way till the asset accounting and try to implement as many business processes as possible. Then only you will become more comfortable in handling any kind of implementation project experience related questions, and this is how you will gain it. But most of the people I have seen, they think that by doing just once during their training period is good enough to understand everything in the SAP implementation work. I am sorry to say that never happens, and that will never happen as well. If you want to retain the knowledge, you must practice on a regular basis. There is no exception to it, and nobody is an exception to this rule. Moving next, SAP implementation methodologies in detail. This is one area where I have seen many people who have lot of experience also, they struggle to answer some of the basic things where they are supposed to be aware of these things. You are going to implement certain things. Client will ask you a lot of questions. How you will answer if you don't know how to, what is what, and how it works. This is something you must be good at no matter what. So you have to explore the various kind of implementation methodologies in detail. It does not matter whether it is ASAP methodology or SAP Activate methodology, and you also should know the difference between them, which one is used for what. For example, ASAP methodology used in the SAP ECC environment, whereas SAP Activate methodology is being used for any kind of S4HANA implementation, whether on-premise or cloud. And whatever variety cloud may have, that also does not matter, the process is same. Then you should know what is waterfall, what is agile methodology. The various kind of terminologies like as is, to be, fit gap workshops, fit gap analysis, cutover activities, baseline configuration, final configuration, various kind of testings. There are so many words, so many stuffs. probably I cannot finish it off as part of this video. The list is very long. But then you should know what is that word, what is the meaning of it, and how it is being used. Then on-premise versus cloud implementation, public versus private cloud implementation, and apart from all these things, you should also know the latest happenings in the SAP implementation methodology or SAP ecosystem or SAP landscape. Lot of new things every now and then keeps coming in. So you have to keep yourself updated. Remember, learning in SAP is not an option. It is mandatory to have. And if you don't follow that, then be ready to face the consequences also in due course of time. Nobody will be able to save you. Here, the skill set rules the world. Only the skill sets, your practice, your learning, your exposure, your understanding, your logical thinking, your analyzing capability, everything matters here. The more you have, the better you will be. Moving next, regular preparation and discussion with seniors and co-workers. Many a times I agree that you will find lot of people who are not cooperative with you in terms of discussing something new learning. But then if somebody is not interested into learning or explaining things to you, that doesn't mean that he is the only person available in the world to learn something new for you. You have to find out somebody who is willing to spend some time with you in terms of learning and discussing something, and ensure that you are in touch with that person. Take their inputs, take their guidance, practice on it, and discuss. Have a regular discussion. And before you start discussing something with somebody, ensure that you do your homework first. Don't directly go there and start discussing without doing any homework at your end. That will showcase that you are simply asking the questions, you do not have any interest into learning. Why? Because you have never put an effort to learn that new item first. Always put your first effort, first hand from your end, and that should be the condition before you reach out to somebody else. If you don't do your homework first, then you have no right to ask somebody else. First do your homework, always at any given point of time. Then for interview preparation, for SAP implementation, work experience needs to be done on a regular basis. It is not like one time activity, as I have repeated multiple times earlier also. I am repeating once again because this is a fact, you will have to accept it. Another few things which I have always seen is, most of the people, whatever work they are doing in their day-to-day job activities, they slowly start thinking that that is the only world available in the SAP. That is not true. Always you need to look beyond your day-to-day activities which you do. Try to explore into new areas. Try to understand the concepts used, components used, the business process used, the logic used, the business functionalities applied. All these things you need to understand. Remember, SAP is a very integrated system. So you also need to integrate lot of things in your mind to understand it better. And you also must be willing to explore new areas. You cannot be always uh, what I call cover up into a small area. You have to go beyond that area. You cannot remain always in your comfort zone. You have to go beyond your comfort zone. Then only you will learn something new. Otherwise it will not happen. I can guarantee you for that. So please follow that. That will actually help you. Moving next. If at all possible, try to attend some mock interviews. It actually helps. It tells you where you are good at, where you are bad, where you need to prepare more, and where you can manage it better. Sometimes your mistakes you cannot find out yourself. You have to let others find out mistakes in you, and that can happen only when you attend some mock interviews. Even if you have to spend some money for that, please do that. There is no harm into it. Remember, it is an investment, it is not an expense. I will say why you will invest money for that. I will say this will help you to prepare well. This will help you to know your shortcomings. This will help you to understand what all areas you don't know you are expected to know actually as part of SAP implementation projects. Writing just on E to E on your resume is not going to make you an implementation experience consultant. That is not possible. Then, after the mock interview, obviously that person will give you the feedback as well, that where you did well, where you did not do well, and so on. So, please follow that advice and do a practice again on that. One very important thing is many people think that every interview is one and same. Unfortunately, that is not the case actually. If you think that everything, every interview, same set of questions, same scenarios everybody will ask, that is not going to happen. By default, every interview is unique. That means you will not get another copy of the same interview, same pattern, same questions, same kind of understanding and explanation. People usually ask interview questions based on their own experiences and some of the standard business scenarios. Custom scenarios usually nobody asks in the interview. So if you are working on a SAP project where lot of custom objects are there or custom processes are there, those questions nobody is going to ask you during the interview. They will ask only the standard questions because that is the one which is can be implemented anywhere in the world. And then there can be many industry specific scenarios as well. So that is another part of it. That means the client in which you are working, which industry they are working for, or in which industry they are engaged into, that also matters a lot. So if at all possible, please attend some mock interviews and make yourself better prepared for the SAP implementation experience. Moving next, personal efforts and motivation to make a better career in SAP. These things are always easy in saying the statements, but actually little more tough, and you need to be more committed and disciplined in order to make it happen. So you have to put regular efforts in learning new things. You must have the self-interest in exploring the new areas and subjects. Nobody will come to you and tell you that, boss, read this, do this, do this, do this. You should know what to do and what not to do. You should know what all areas you are well aware of and what all your, I will say, the areas where you are not so much comfortable with or you don't know anything at all. So you have to have self-interest into exploring those new areas and subjects. You must be motivated to make it happen. If you are not motivated enough, if you are comfortable, if you are lazy, if you don't want to explore new things, remember, then things will not move as per your expectation and you will face the issue whenever you will attend the interview. Many a times you can also use interview as your learning tool. Attend some interviews, obviously they will ask you a lot of questions. Once you come out of the interview, please prepare on those questions and make yourself better prepared. Particularly myself, I have used that approach extensively. Though it is not an easy way to learn, but this is also one of the way to explore and learn something where you may not have focus into it. And finally, commitment to the learning is a must. If you are not committed for your learning, nobody in the world can help you to learn. Many a times, if you think that you have spent 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years in the industry and now you know everything, please do not make a fool of yourself. That is not going to help you. That is going to create more problems for you, because the more number of years of experience you have, the more deeper level of conceptual and other questions will be asked to you, and you will be expected to reply on that. So unless you deep dive into the system, things will not go in your way, and self discipline plus self interest, both are equally needed to make it happen. Moving next. Now I have come to the conclusion of this video. So learning is a continuous journey. It does not matter SAP implementation project or SAP support projects, and more so in case of SAP implementation work. Remember, implementation usually happens once for a client, and next time onwards it can be mostly upgrades from one system, one version to the another version to the another version, and things like that. So learning here is a continuous journey. It is not a one-time activity. Every time you do something, you will learn something new. Please make a note of whatever new things you learn. You must make a note of it. Most of the people don't make a note of it, and then they forget it later on. Not just making a note of it, revision also is a must. You also need to ensure that you are fully updated with the new happenings, and always do the regular practice in the SAP system in ECC and S4HANA both. If you are working only in S4HANA system, that also is fine. But suppose in future if you get a chance to work on the SAP ECC system, what you will do if you don't know how the ECC system works? Everywhere you will get S4HANA is not a mandatory stuff. So you should be comfortable with both systems. And to say finally, at the least, making a great career is always a personal responsibility. It is not your company's responsibility to make your career a better. It is always your personal responsibility, your personal commitment, your personal growth. And that is what will make your professional growth look better. So take it in your hand, put an effort into it, and obviously, if you put your effort into the right direction, you will start noticing the changes in your knowledge level very soon. That is my promise to you. If you really put an honest effort towards it, you will see the results also very soon. So please follow whatever I have discussed as part of this entire video. I have given lots of valuable inputs, the ways and means by which you can make yourself better and comfortable for writing end-to-end experience in your resume. Remember, it is very easy to write, but it is equally difficult to defend in the interview. So if you have to defend it even without having a real-time implementation work experience, if you follow all the above, you will be in a position to handle it better. Moving next. If you still have any specific query, any question, any doubt, anything which you want to clarify, you can drop an email to the given email ID. I will definitely respond you back with your query. Okay, moving next. Now we have come to the last slide of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Kindly like this video, subscribe this YouTube channel, share this video in your network. Let everybody understand. Let everybody understand what they need to do to become better version of themselves, better version of SAP consultant. With that, thank you once again. Wish you all a great day ahead. Bye bye.